A few months ago, while I was searching for information about the Sticker Star beta, I came across the announcement trailer for Mario Tennis Open. At first, I really didn't think much of it, since I really didn't care too much about Mario Tennis Open at the time, but I watched the video and I was surprised. The trailer was from Nintendo Conference 2011, which was at Tokyo Game Show 2011, and in the trailer, the game looked almost exactly like Mario Power Tennis. From the fact that they used Peach Dome, to the voice clips, music, and font, everything here seemed to be reused from Mario Power Tennis. It seemed weird to me because most people generally viewed this game as drifting away from the Mario Tennis formula in a negative way with the chance shot system. But at its core, this game seems to be very similar to Mario Power Tennis, just with less content and gameplay mechanics that make it feel forgettable. So in this episode of Retro Look, I will be taking a look at Mario Tennis Open, the Mario Tennis game that everyone forgot about. Was that for a good reason? Or was it just because this game didn't have a lot to offer? Mario Tennis Open was first announced in September 2011 at the Tokyo Game Show in Nintendo's presentation. As I mentioned in the introduction, this game seems to be very similar to Mario Power Tennis from the GameCube. The stadium was Peach Dome rather than the Mario Stadium, and Piantas and Noki can be seen in the crowd. The trailer starts off with a singles match between Mario and Bowser, but later shows a doubles match, adding in Luigi and Peach. As I mentioned earlier, the font and music were also reused for Mario Power Tennis. We know very little about this game's development, so it's hard to tell when this game started development and what it was originally intended to be like. Judging by the first trailer, it could have possibly started as an enhanced port or remake of Mario Power Tennis, and most of the development for Mario Tennis Open probably happened between September 2011 and spring 2012, meaning that it likely had a very short development aside from the Power Tennis-like prototype that it was built off of. Many things in the final game still resemble Mario Power Tennis, and it seems to use that game as a base. Mario Stadium definitely seems like a reskin of Peach Dome, many voice clips are reused, as well as the menu font. And this game definitely seems to be rushed, and along with many of the other assets that were reused, there were also scrapped plans for this game. Rosalina was originally going to appear as a playable character, but was cut and replaced with Luma due to time restraints. From what we can tell about how this game was developed from the bits and pieces of trailers and development info that we can gather, this game definitely seemed to be developed under a strict deadline. It could have started as a Power Tennis remaster, but shifted gears pretty quickly and built an entirely new game off of its existing base. So, it may be rushed, but let's look at the amount of content that it has. The Mario sports games, for the most part, have been fairly light on content, and Mario Tennis Open is no exception, especially because it seems to be rushed. But there are actually 25 playable characters, which is much better than most recent Mario sports games. However, 7 of those are separate Yoshi colors, so the roster is technically just 18 characters, but that's still pretty good. And to be fair, each Yoshi color does have a different skill type, so they aren't just cosmetic. But they didn't include Orange Yoshi, so I'm gonna have to dock some points for that. And another interesting thing about the Yoshi colors is the fact that along with other characters that can be unlocked, they actually were unlocked using QR codes. Some 3DS games occasionally use QR codes for sharing things, such as Mii's, and in the case of Mario Tennis Open, it was used to unlock extra characters. Interestingly, the QR codes were originally distributed using sources outside of Nintendo, such as retail stores or game review sites. Since they are just QR codes, they are still perfectly usable in the game today, so if you haven't unlocked any of the characters yet, pause the video and pull out your 3DS. Okay, now that you've done that, let's continue. Along with the characters unlocked via QR codes, there are also some characters unlocked by completing each side game, which are Luma, Dry Bowser, Baby Mario, and Baby Peach. The one character that some fans point to when people say that they want a character from the Mario and Luigi series to appear in other spin-offs. But anyways, overall, I'd say that the roster is fairly solid, though it does have a lot of boring picks, like the Yoshi colors as separate slots, the babies, or other clone characters. Definitely a step down from the roster in Power Tennis, which had characters like Petey Piranha and even Wiggler. And moving on to courts, things start to get disappointing. While the various themes used, such as Peach's Castle, DK Jungle, and the Galaxy Arena, are pretty cool and are definitely more unique compared to the other spin-offs at the time, they only had one gimmick in the entire game, and that was with the Galaxy Arena. The one court that had a gimmick, Galaxy Arena, had a black hole mechanic, and it really wasn't even that interesting. Compare that to Mario Power Tennis, which had 7 courts with gimmicks on top of the regular courts. So really, the only difference between each of the courts is the ball speed and bounce, which is definitely a missed opportunity. It's not as bad as Battle League's lack of stadium variation, but it does make the game feel a bit boring as there's not much variety here. Overall, Mario Tennis Open has a decent roster and a disappointing selection of stages, which understandably is partially why this game is so forgettable. While Mario Tennis Open is lacking in court variety, it actually has a pretty good selection of modes. Like in previous games, the tournament mode is there and it contains 8 cups, which is about the same as Mario Power Tennis. The last 4 cups are unlocked using individual characters when you compete in the Champions Cup. It's a bit weird and it may seem like a bit of padding the grind with each character, but I personally don't mind it. On top of the regular exhibition and tournament modes, there are also a few special modes, which each are pretty fun and provide a decent bit of challenge. Ring Shot from Mario Tennis 64 returns, and there's also a remixed version of Piranha Challenge called Ink Showdown, which has inky piranha plants. And then there's Super Mario Tennis, which is a version of Super Mario Bros. That you can play using a tennis ball. It may seem like nostalgia pandering at first, but it's actually fairly well executed and pretty fun. Finally, there's Galaxy Rally, which is a Mario Galaxy themed mode where you rebound the ball back to Luma while avoiding disappearing platforms. All of these special modes are actually pretty fun and actually provide a decent amount of challenge, which partially makes up for the lack of challenge in the regular tennis matches. Speaking of lack of challenge in the regular tennis matches, let's get into that. The gameplay of Mario Tennis Open is very weird, and while it's fun in some areas, the changes they made to the mechanics make it feel really easy. The basic tennis gameplay is pretty much exactly how you'd expect it to work. It has simple shots, flat shots, slice shots, lob shots, all using similar button combinations as before. And this time, they tried to change it up a bit and add a new mechanic called chance shots. And basically, chance shots allow you to use a powerful shot whenever a glowing icon appears on your side of the court. They're supposed to give you an advantage whenever you have a bad rebound, but it seems like I get them at random, if not multiple times in a row. These shots also make it feel extremely easy to score, which significantly reduces the challenge involved. And it also reduces most skill that was involved with the games, since the chance shots mostly appear at random. So out of all Mario Tennis games, excluding Ultra Smash, this is honestly the easiest game. I feel like the gameplay system is almost rushed and kind of unfinished in some ways, because it's very broken and it makes the core gameplay somewhat boring as a result. They could have improved upon this system by reducing the amount of chance shots or having a gauge system like in Aces. Overall, Mario Tennis Open has gameplay that leaves much to be desired, as it has a broken and seemingly unfinished mechanic, which removes a lot of the skill from the game. Overall, Mario Tennis Open is kind of a mixed bag. While the modes are fun and have some depth, the content is lackluster and the gameplay is extremely easy. It's definitely a downgrade from Mario Power Tennis, the game it was modeled after, and it kind of feels like a half-baked experience at times. It's not a bad game by any means, but it's definitely pretty forgettable and is much weaker than the other games in the series. Next up on Retro Look, we'll be finishing off the 3DS Camelot Mario Sports duology with Mario Golf World Tour. This is surprisingly one of the best games in the series, and it stands above most modern Mario sports games. So anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more, and make sure to check out my Discord server if you want to. Goodbye.